Good morning, students. So we are now going to start with our lesson number 5, that is temperature. Yes, it's a very easy chapter to understand. We all know that temperature, what is temperature, how do we take the temperature, है ना? Different types of temperature like body temperature, we see the weather temperature, then water temperature. Yes, so we'll see which are the factors that affect this temperature in our weather conditions, and for this various activities are given in this lesson. Basically, that activities you are supposed to do it. If you stuck anywhere, we'll discuss it in the live session. No need to worry, we'll just have the look at the lesson and we'll just try to finish it up. Okay, so let's start with our lesson number 5, temperature. So let's start with our first activity, that is do it yourself, students. You need to arrange all the things by yourself. If you are not able to arrange the things, just read the activity. It's very simple. Now take a torchlight. You can see figure 1 over there, है ना? And you can see a torchlight, a paper. Yes, and how in the first figure, in A figure, the rays are perpendicular, and how in figure B the rays are bent. So we are just going to do the activity. If you don't want to do it, you can just read the activity. Take a torchlight and keep it stable at one place. Take two large paper sheets large enough to accommodate its entire beam. Paste the papers onto flat boards. See, now two papers are pasted onto flat boards. Hold the board perpendicular to the beam. In figure 1, the paper is in a position that is perpendicular to the torchlight. Yes. Now use the other paper. Now the other paper, it is placed in such a way that there creates an angle of 120 degree with the beam. Okay. Now draw the outline of the area occupied by the beam. Now you need to draw an outline, है ना? Once the beam is formed, they have taken out an outline. Name the paper B. Observe both the papers A and B. Now, some questions are given over there. We'll just see directly the explanation only. Yes, explanation itself makes you understand uh, about this activity. Now see, sun rays coming towards the earth travel in straight lines. We all know that sun rays coming towards the earth travel in straight lines. However, as the earth is spherical in shape, these are not perpendicular to all the parts of the earth's surface. In some parts they are perpendicular, whereas in other parts they are slanting. Let us see what effect it has on the earth. Yes, we all know, when we see a globe, you can take an example of a globe also and you can put a torchlight over there, है ना? Some places are in a perpendicular position, some are on a straight position. We already know that. Yes, so the perpendicular rays occupies. Now let us see the effect this rays, what effect it has on the earth. Yes, the perpendicular rays occupy less area. We all know that the perpendicular rays occupy less area. That is figure 5.1a. The part where the rays occupy lesser area receives bright sunshine and greater heat. Hence the surface there gets heated more and the air becomes hotter. Now, as we all are seeing in figure 5.1 that the perpendicular area rays occupy less area, है ना? That's why it occupies lesser, as it occupies lesser area, receives brighter sunshine, है ना? क्योंकि वो थोड़ा कम एरिया लेता है तो वो एक ही जगह पे बहुत ज्यादा सनशाइन देता है, इसीलिए वो जगह बहुत ज्यादा heated होती है. Yes, and the air also becomes hotter. The slant rays occupy a larger area. अब जो slanting rays है वो कैसे slanted in a 120 degree position, है ना, एंगल, वहां पे कैसे ना वो बहुत ज्यादा टॉर्च लाइट जो है वो फैल रही है, जिसके वजह से सनलाइट अपीयर्स लेस ब्राइट, जिसके वजह से वो सनलाइट फैल जा रही है, जिसके वजह से वहां पे कम हीट जाती है. ठीक है, hence the surface there gets less heated and the air too is less hot. Okay, I hope the activity is clear enough. देखो, the perpendicular rays वहां पे एक ही जगह वो फोकस करती है लाइट, जिसकी वजह से वो एरिया ज्यादा हॉटर हो जाती है. एंड इन केस ऑफ the next diagram where the angle is 120 degree, वहां पे वो लाइट फैल जाती है, जिसकी वजह से कम heated होती है. Yes, so this is the effect. Now the next activity, do it yourself, again an activity. This lesson is basically based on the activity only. It's very easy lesson. The region marked A in figure. Now we are going to see figure 5.2 in the next slide, where you will see in figure 5.2 receives perpendicular rays, while the region marked B receives slant rays, and in the region marked C the rays are extremely slanting. Hence, using a scale, measure the length of the lit up portions of the Earth's surface in A, B and C regions. Measure the width. Now various things they have told us to do. Let's first see the next slide, and let's see the diagram. Okay. Now here in this figure 5.2 you can see that A is perpendicular. Yes, exactly perpendicular rays. B is slanting and C is very much slanting. Now let's see the explanation. See, that is the diagram of Earth's shape and the distribution of sun rays. Explanation. Sun rays falling on the Earth are straight and parallel to each other. However, we have seen that due to the spherical shape of the Earth and the resultant curvature of the surface, they occupy a larger or lesser area. This leads to unequal distribution of heat received from the sun, resulting in decreasing temperature from the equator to the north and south poles. Based on the distribution of temperature, the Earth can be divided into torrid, temperate and frigid zones, or tropical, temperate and polar zones regions. Try to understand this from figure 2.4 and 5.3. Now it's very easy again. Let's just imagine the Earth, the figure that we have already seen, where we decide the temperate zone, frigid zone and the torrid zone. Yes, we all know when we see the equator, just above the equator and below the equator the regions are more hotter, but as we move towards the pole the region becomes temperate and then it becomes frigid. Yes, it's one and the same thing here given over there. Yes, so for that you can see 5.3 figure also, thermal zones are given over there. You can see the figure and you can point it out. This things already we have studied it very many times in class 5, in class 6 and in the beginning also. So now, though latitude is the main factor, there are other factors also which influence the distribution of temperature. However, their effects are limited to a particular region. These factors are as follows. Now, first factor we already know that latitude is only the factor which influences the distribution of temperature. Yes, because of this latitudes only the distribution of temperature is divided in these forms. Now let's see the another effects which are however, latitude, their effects are limited to a particular region. These factors are as follows. Yes, let's see the another factors also now. Now nearness to the sea, continentality, height above the mean sea level and physical setup of a region are the factors that lead to diversity in climate of different regions. Now, when we see the diversity of climate in different regions, as we all know, different regions have different climatic conditions. Yes, so various factors are there that lead to this diversity. Yes, so some of the factors are nearness to the sea, जब जगह sea के नजदीक होती है. Yes, some places are continentality, then some regions are height above the mean sea level and the physical setup of a region. Okay, these are the factors, they have highlighted it very nicely. Other than this, factors like cloud cover, winds, vegetation cover, urbanization, industrialization, etc. also influence the local climate. Yes, other factors other than this, I mean nearness to the sea, continentality, other than this, vegetation cover, then the urbanization, yes, industrialization, various places have various types of industries and this all the factors also affect the local area, climate of local area, है ना, ये influence करती है ये सारी चीजें climate को. ठीक है, now can you tell how will the rays fall between this? Can you tell part and use your brain power? We are going to discuss it in the live session, students. I am not going to discuss it here. I want to do it face on face. Yes, so let's discuss it in the live session only. Now, moving on to the next page, that is page number 25. Now another experiment. Let us perform an experiment to see that there is a difference in the heating and the cooling of land and water. Now see, take two pots of the same size and fill them with water equally. At sunrise, keep one of the pots inside the house and other one outside. See that it remains in the sun all the time as shown in figure 5.b. Now you can see two pots of water. One has to remain all the time besides the sun only, and other one at sunrise keep one of the pots inside the house and the other one outside. One has to keep it outside and one has to keep it inside the house. In the afternoon, walk barefoot on the floor inside the house and feel the temperature of the floor. Feel the temperature of the water in the pot inside. Perform the same activity outside the house and get the feel of the temperature of land and water kept in the sun. Write down your observation about the temperature of land and water. Do it again. On 7 in the evening, note your observations again. Now you can remove the pots, discuss all the observations you have noted in the class. This activity you are going to do it by yourself. Very easy activity. The pot that we have kept it inside, you need to take, after some hours, you need to take the temperature of the land and the water. Yes. And then the pot that you have kept outside, there also you need to do your observations. Obviously you all know. Let's see the explanation first, then let's discuss. Yes, you must have realized that the land cools down early than the water. The water kept outside in the sun is still a little warm. Due to this difference in the heating and cooling of land and water, the air over the land gets heated faster and also becomes cooler rapidly. Now we all know land becomes cooler faster as compared to the water. जो pot आपने बाहर रखा होगा ना, आप देखेंगे पानी ज़्यादा देर तक गर्म रहेगा, पर land थोड़ा जल्दी ठंडा हो जाएगा. Yes. Now, due to this difference in heating, the air over the land gets heated faster and also becomes cooler rapidly. है ना, जैसे जैसे सुबह धूप रहती है तो एयर बहुत गर्म रहती है, but as soon as the temperature goes down, sun goes down, we see the air becomes cooler. The air over the water gets heated slowly and also loses the heat in the slower manner. Coastal areas as compared to continental areas, the temperature of the air is lower during the day but warmer at night. We all know that where the continents in the continental areas the temperature of air is lower during the day. Temperature lower रहता है during the day and warmer at night. रात को थोड़ा ज़्यादा चिपचिप और गरम गरम होने लगता है. Contrary to this, the temperature of air in the continental areas is higher during the daytime and कोस्टल एरियाज की बात की है, सॉरी, ये हमने कोस्टल एरियाज में क्या होते हैं, जहाँ कोस्ट होते हैं, सी कोस्ट होते हैं, वहाँ पे दिन में थोड़ा कम गर्म होता है पर रात में बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म होने लगता है, चिपचिप होने लगता है. बट इन केस ऑफ कॉन्टिनेंटल एरियाज क्या होता है ना, इज हायर ड्यूरिंग द डे टाइम एंड लोअर एट नाइट. रात को कम हो जाता है और दिन में ज़्यादा होता है. इन द कोस्टल एरियाज बिकॉज ऑफ द हीटिंग ऑफ सी वाटर, अब देखो क्यों ऐसा होता है. इन द कोस्टल एरियाज बिकॉज ऑफ द हीटिंग ऑफ sea water vapor gets mixed in the air. This water vapor holds the heat in the air. As a result, the air in the coastal areas remains moist and warm. Conditions in the coastal areas are opposite. Yes. Now what happens in the coastal area ना, दिन में जो पानी रहता है, सी कोस्ट में जो पानी रहता है वो बहुत गर्म एयर के साथ जाके मिक्स होता है. Yes, it gets mixed with the air and that's why the temperature is over there. Now it's directly opposite in the continental areas, whereas as water vapor is absent, the air remains dry. This leads to sharp differences in the day and night temperatures. Continental areas में क्या होता है, वाटर वेपर नहीं होते हैं, जिसके वजह से वहाँ का टेम्परेचर, वहाँ की एयर ड्राई ही होती है. यस. सो द डिफरेंस इन मैक्सिमम एंड मिनिमम टेम्परेचर्स ऑफ अ डे इज कॉल्ड डायurnal रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर. अब जो ये डिफरेंसेस देखते हैं मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम टेम्परेचर, that in the daytime it is maximum and in the night time it is minimum. This temperatures, the difference in between this maximum and minimum temperatures of a day is called as diurnal range of temperatures. This words you need to keep in mind, students. Yes, please, already they have blocked it, written in a, they have highlighted it, but you need to underline it as well. In short, the difference in the day and night temperature is less in the coastal areas and more in the continental areas. For example, Mumbai temperatures are even, but at Nagpur they vary. Yes. So let's move on to the next page now. Now moving on to page number 26. As we have seen the Mumbai temperatures and we have compared it with the Nagpur temperatures. So in the coastal region of Konkan region, the range of temperature is less, but in Vidarbha, the range of temperature is found to be higher. है ना, कोंकण रीजन में टेम्परेचर कम रहता है बट विदर्भ में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. Therefore, Coastal areas have an equable climate, whereas in continental areas the climate is extreme. For example, the climate of Mumbai is equable, whereas the continental locations like Nagpur, it is extreme, है ना? Mumbai में sea coast है, we all know, है ना? It's a coastal area. That's why we all know that it has minimum temperatures. हमारे नागपुर जितना गर्म कभी नहीं होता है. Yes, we all know that Nagpur is the hotter place. The difference in the mean temperature of summer and winter is called as annual range of temperature. Now, as we have seen the diurnal range of temperature, that is the maximum and minimum temperature. Now here the difference in the mean temperatures of summer and winter. Yes, please note it down in a notebook and keep these terms in your mind. This is the annual range of temperature. Now, okay. Do you know column, and can you tell what will you do? This we are going to discuss in live session itself. Now we'll move on to the next activity, that is do it yourself again. A next activity. A pot with water is placed on a burner. Drop 4 to 5 small plastic buttons in it and observe their movement in figure. Now they have taken a pot that is placed on a burner and they have dropped a 4 small plastic buttons. Now let's see. This is about the convection and vertical flow of heat. Now water expands on heating. We all know that water expands on heating. The hot water from the base moves upward, है ना? जो गर्म पानी है वो उबलने लगता है, ऊपर आने लगता है. With it, the buttons too are pushed to the surface. The relatively cooler water in the upper portion moves downward, taking the buttons with it. This happens repeatedly. In other words, on heating, an upward current sets in the water. In nature, the conditions are slightly different. Yes. Now, as we see, for this you need to do this activity only. आपको एक पॉट में गर्म पानी लेना है, बर्नर पे रखना है और उसमें बटन रखने हैं. ये आप जब करेंगे तभी आपको समझ में आएंगे कि जैसे जैसे पानी गर्म होने जाता है वो उबलने लगता है. यस, वैसे ही जैसे जैसे ऊपर अपर पोर्शंस का, द रिलेटिवली कूलर वाटर इन द अपर पोर्शन मूव्स डाउनवर्ड, है ना? दिस हैपेंस रिपीटेडली. ऑन हीटिंग द अपवर्ड करंट सेट्स इन द वाटर. So, due to temperature differences, both upward and horizontal currents develop in the ocean. ठीक है? Because of the temperature differences only, the upward and the horizontal currents develop in the ocean. Besides temperature differences, factors like winds rise to the horizontal currents. Winds and differences in the density of water also gives rise to horizontal currents. अब horizontal currents को और कौन rise देता है? Winds देते हैं and the differences in the density of water. This ocean currents flow from the equator to the polar region and from the polar region to the equator. अब ये ocean currents जो है ये कहाँ से कहाँ flow होते हैं? From equator to the polar region and from polar region to the equator. When an ocean current flows, जब ocean current flow होता है ना? From the frigid to the torrid zone, it reduces the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. क्या होता है जब फ्रीजिड जोन से टॉरिड जोन में यानी एकदम ठंडे जोन से एकदम गर्म जोन में जब ये ओशन करंट फ्लो होते हैं तो टेम्परेचर ऑफ द कोस्ट इन द टॉरिड रीजन रेड्यूसेस. टॉरिड जोन का टेम्परेचर क्या होता है? रेड्यूस होता है. व्हेन अ करंट फ्लोज फ्रॉम टॉरिड टू द फ्रीजिड इट इंक्रीजेस. ऑफ कोर्स, है ना? जब ये गर्म से ठंडे में जाएगा तो ठंडे का भी टेम्परेचर बढ़ाएगा, पर जब ये ठंडे से गर्म में आएगा तो गर्म का टेम्परेचर डिक्रीज करेगा. यस, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पेज नाउ. Okay, now here you will be able to see a world ocean currents map. है ना? You will see a map where the ocean currents are shown. है ना? That arrows you can see how the ocean currents flow. Yes, we'll discuss it in the live session how basically these ocean currents are. Yes, that has to be explained face to face itself. Okay, so then use the brain power we are going to do in live session only. Then, do you know the regions where warm and cold currents converge are favorable for the growth of planktons? A plankton is an animal where they grow. अब ये कहाँ आपको देखने मिलेंगे, कहाँ इनका ग्रोथ होता है प्रॉपर? जहाँ पे वार्म एंड कोल्ड करंट्स का कॉन्वर्ज होता है. ठीक है. नाउ प्लैंक्टन्स आर द फूड फॉर द फिशेस. प्लैंक्टन्स क्या होते हैं? फूड फॉर द फिशेस. फिशेस प्लैंक्टन्स को खाते हैं. फिश फ्रॉम अदर एरियाज ट्रैवल टुवर्ड्स दिस एरियाज इन लार्ज नंबर्स. They breed in warm waters due to high concentration of fish population. Fisheries thrive well in these areas. Map of ocean currents given in figure 5.6. Locate such regions. Find their names from an atlas or the internet. Write these names on the map. Now you are going to do this कि आपको locate करना है such regions where the ocean currents है ना, you can see the ocean currents given in the map over there. Now you need to locate the places that have high concentration of fish population है ना. अब fish आपको पता है plankton, fish plankton को खाते हैं. Now fish from other areas travel towards this areas in large numbers. They breed in warm waters. Where there is warm water, you need to locate that area over there, okay, in the map. We'll just discuss it in the live session also. Now, a geography museum, there are a number of methods of showing distributions on a map. One of this is isolines. Due to this method, the characteristic distribution of a component stands out vividly. Now, what are isolines? Can be drawn using statistical information about natural factors. These lines are drawn on a map by joining all the points having the same value. Distribution on regional and global levels can be shown using isolines of different factors like height, temperature, pressure, rainfall, etc. Now, isolines are the lines that are drawn on the map. You can see, है ना, by joining all the points having the same value. सारे points को मिला के ये isolines draw किए जाते हैं. You can see the warm current and cold current है ना. The blue color arrows are the cold currents, whereas pink color arrows are the warm current. Now we'll see detail about isolines also, okay, in the next live session. Let's move on to the next page. Now let's see the next page, that is page number 28. Students, make friends with map. World map is given over there where it explains mean annual temperature. Let's see the explanation. Considering the temperatures of various places on Earth, maps of global distribution are prepared. Figure 5.7 is drawn with the help of isotherms. Isotherms are lines that connect places with the same temperatures after avoiding the effect of height. Now you can see these lines. They are isotherms. Yes, on a map you can see the lines. This line connects basically the places of the same temperature. Same temperature के places को connect करती है and after avoiding the effect of height, height को ये avoid करती है. These lines generally appear parallel. You can see these lines are parallel to the latitudes on a world map. Observe the isotherm of 25 degrees Celsius in the map. This line occupies area close to the equator. Yes, you can see the 25 degree wala where it is closer to the equator. The shape of this line appears like an ellipse on a map. देखो उसका shape देखो. The north-south spread of this ellipse is greater on the continents as compared to the oceans. The isotherm lines occupy some parts of the continents of South America, Africa, Asia and Australia. A limited portion of the Pacific Ocean is occupied by the isotherm. We'll find two isotherms with a label of 0 degree. Observe them. Now 0 degree वाले देखिए, where you can see 0 degree. Yes. The 0 degree isotherm from the southern hemisphere is largely straight and is parallel to the line of latitude. You can see it is largely straight and parallel to the line of latitude. Comparatively, the line of the same value in the northern hemisphere deviates north and south considerably. अब दो दिख रहे हैं आपको 0 डिग्री, तो southern hemisphere का भी देखिए और northern hemisphere का भी देखिए. Okay. Then in the west, in parts of Pacific Ocean, it is fairly straight, and when it enters the continent of North America, it turns somewhat to the north. So then the line proceeds. Okay, so you can see the differences in both the hemispheres, the 0 degree value wala isotherm. Okay, so let's see the next page now. Okay, now this is the last page, students. We'll end up our session now. Here, once we'll finish this page, then the rest of your doubts will be cleared in live sessions. We'll discuss it briefly in the live session itself. Now, let's see more about isotherms. Within a short distance after entering the Atlantic Ocean, it turns towards the northeast. Now, by seeing the figure only, आप figure से ही ये सारी चीजें देख सकते हैं, है ना? मैप से ही देखेंगे कि कौन सा 0 डिग्री वाला कहाँ जा रहा है, कैसे जा रहा है. Yes, we find all the isotherm lines turning towards the northeast. सारे turn होंगे northeast के तरफ. This is because a warm Asian current is located in this area. Further, after entering Eurasia, moving eastward, it turns somewhat to the southeast. Still further in the Pacific Ocean, most of the isotherm lines appear moving eastwards as straight lines. The isotherms in the southern hemisphere are fairly parallel to the latitudinal lines. When we see the isotherms in the southern hemisphere, they are parallel to the latitudinal lines. From South Pole to the Tropic of Capricorn, the distance between This line is almost equal. So the portion of the land in the southern hemisphere is limited. Temperatures in this part are largely influenced by latitude. As we have seen that temperatures get influenced by the latitude, है ना? You can see in the southern hemisphere. Yes. In the northern hemisphere, the distance between this line varies. While coming to the northern hemisphere, इनके बीच का distance बहुत vary करता है. This hemisphere, the proportion of land is comparatively greater. This affects the distribution of temperature. These effects are seen in the form of variations in the distance between the isotherms and the curved nature of these lines. Now, these are the effects that we have seen. Yes. Now, next is a thermometer. We all know, we all have it at our home, है ना? देखना आप thermometer. देखो वहाँ simple thermometer दिया हुआ है. Some parts are labeled over there. आपको पता है थर्मोमीटर में टेम्परेचर हम कौन से इसमें मेजर कर सकते हैं, या फिर सेल्सियस में या फिर फ़ारेनहाइट में. देन द पोर्शन इज कॉल्ड एज वैक्यूम ग्लास ट्यूब. फिर टेम्परेचर स्केल आपको दिख रही है, फिर उसमें जो बढ़ता है दैट इज मर्क्यूरी और अल्कोहल, और उसके नीचे के पार्ट को क्या बोलते हैं, माउंट बोलते हैं. ओके. नाउ डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ थर्मोमीटर्स आर यूज्ड फॉर मेजरिंग द टेम्परेचर ऑफ एयर. एयर को मेजर करने के लिए डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ थर्मोमीटर्स यूज कर सकते हैं. Mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometer. The freezing point of mercury is minus 39 degrees Celsius, whereas that of alcohol is minus 130 degrees Celsius. These materials are highly sensitive to temperature variations. Therefore, variations in temperature from minus 30 to plus 55 degree can be easily observed with the help of these materials. The units of measuring temperature are degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. As shown in the figure, they are expressed as degree C or degree F. The difference in daily temperatures, maximum minimum, can be observed with the help of thermometer. Air temperature is measured in Celsius. We all know it. Yes. So here we end up our session, and we'll continue with the next lesson in the next session, students, and we'll discuss it in more detail in the live session. I hope the things are clear. The things that you didn't understand, please make a note over there, make a star mark over there. We'll discuss it in the live session, students. Thank you.